I want to dedicate this program on behalf of us all to Detroit Police Officer Loren Courts, 40 years old, a 5-year veteran, the son of a cop, a father, a husband, who took a fatal shot to the neck Wednesday evening. A madman was shooting out the window. Officer Courts doesn't know who called. Didn't matter to him. He responded in 2 minutes. These always break my heart. He has our respect. His memory has our respect. All of you that serve have our respect.
Thank you.
I want to have Mark Young come in. Mark, it is the Detroit Lieutenants and Sergeants Association, the union. Is this correct? You're the president.
Yes, sir.
And we were talking last night, and you're livid. Why? First of all, if you want to say something about Officer Courts, I knew you knew his father, who was also a cop. And then tell me, just what's the anger inside you?
I never had the great honor of meeting Officer Courts, but I knew his father. His father was a great leader. He's a retired sergeant on the Detroit Police Department, an awesome leader. He mentored everybody. His father had an infectious smile. His father has an infectious smile, but more importantly, he mentored everybody, including myself, and to see him at the hospital on Wednesday night, it devastated me. Officer Courts is the best of us. We are him and he is us. And the system has to support law enforcement. It is sexy to hear about a negative story about a law enforcement officer. But it's not sexy to hear about what they face every day and what they endure every day. When I look at what Loren faced that day, he responded to a shots fired run, and you said it best, Charlie. It didn't make a difference who called or where the call came from, responding in 2 minutes. The ultimate sacrifice, this world lost a great person. It lost a hero. I've always been said that I represent the real life Avengers, and I'm proud to be a part of a department that has people that put everything on the line for people that they never met and would never know their name. And to make that ultimate sacrifice, I've been devastated ever since his death.
Let's all dwell on that for a moment, just a moment of silence, and think about the fact that a man gave his life for you. And that we keep lumping, I know there's bad cops, and there's few bad cops, but there are, but they're few. That's not part of the discussion anymore. The man, nobody in government ever responds to you except the first responders. No questions asked. And that's what he did. And let's give him his moment. Now, Mark, it didn't have to be. This guy had a weapons charge. He got probation. He had a weapons charge. They were waiting for some evidence from the lab before issuing a warrant. Was this in vain? Like, I'm not even going to say the guy that shot him because he's a puke.
Charlie, I'm going to be honest with you. When I see stories like this, I'm not surprised anymore. These individuals have already had numerous contacts with law enforcement, and most of them should have already been incarcerated or shouldn't be out on bond to create other crimes. And that is disturbing as well. COVID is not an excuse for people not to go to trial, to not be incarcerated, low bonds, no bonds, or to end probation or parole. For some people, I'm not saying that people shouldn't get probation or parole, but some of these violent offenders, and now, in my opinion, we live in a society that nobody fears the judicial system anymore. I really believe that. And that's to talk on the street.
And they're not, they're not putting the money there, man. We know, you and I both know, you're a cop in Wayne County. That backlog is 3 years, dude. We got rapists out on tether.
I'll tell you this, in my experience, in my 35 years of law enforcement, I found that criminals report to work just like I do every day. And you know what? Wow. Well said. They're looking for people to victimize.
Mark, you said that you were a part of an organization that puts their lives on the line every day for people that they don't know because they're committed to serve and to protect. But yes. Are you part of an organization that is valued by the institution, the municipality, and the people that you serve?
I don't think that we're completely valued. I don't think, and it shouldn't take an officer's death or a law enforcement officer's death for us to speak up. I think that real leadership speaks up when it does not affect your own, but when it affects others. And this one right here, Karen, I don't think I'll ever be the same again. Not that any of the law enforcement officers that got killed in the line of duty was any less, but I think that this one, I'm watching as time goes on that it's more important to blame the law enforcement for everything. Law enforcement is not just blatantly shooting and killing people. There's over 900,000 sworn law enforcement officers across this nation. They respond to millions of runs every day. And I get it. I'm not here to pass judgment on some cases, to decide which cases are right or who's justified. Until you've been in their shoes, until you stepped in my shoes, don't pass that judgment. But what I am here to tell you is people like Courts, myself, and the men and women that I represent, they get up, show up, suit up, and step up. And you know what? That needs to be appreciated, respected, and valued. I'm going to tell you this. We are in a society right now where everybody has a gun. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's for financial reasons that the municipalities allow everybody to have a gun because it costs money to get the CPLs and all the rest of that stuff, but everybody has one.
And you got to answer. And you got to answer the fucking call, not knowing what nutbags out there.
Nobody should have a Draco, an AK-47, or an AR-15. That's not a hunting weapon. That's not a hunting weapon. And you know the other reason that I'm angry? Because the garbage law that they just passed, it means nothing. That was just to appease. I saw a story that broke my heart this morning about an 8-year-old that is paralyzed from the Highland incident, from the mass shooting. I guess the bullet blew away his spine or whatever it is. And that touched me too. There's no reason why all these assault weapons and the men and women of law enforcement from my department and all the departments across this great nation face military-style weapons. While we want to be kinder and gentler as the police, we're facing the Thanoses and the real villains of the world. And then we often find an excuse that they're mental. There are some mental individuals, but there's also a lot of evil and sinister individuals in this society that victimize people for other reasons. And I applaud, love, admire, respect, and appreciate the men and women of my profession because I know and see what they go through every day.
I'm going to do this. We're not going to play that. We're going to play a clip of the mayor talking to the press at the hospital. Not going to do it, okay? But I will say this. This is the most dangerous city in America. These are amongst the least paid police officers in the United States. As we speak, the contract for the police has expired. They're leaving in droves. They don't get what they need. They don't get support from City Hall, the community. They're forced into overtime. They're talking about 12-hour shifts again. We're giving money to skyscrapers and billionaires and developers, and we don't have anything for these guys to keep a lid on a country losing its fucking mind. I got no respect for a mayor that sits up there with some crocodile tears, and you're not doing the real thing. You're going to drag them into arbitration, give them a fucking penny or two, and pretend like they're not leaving in droves. That's what we got. Am I wrong, Mark?
I don't know about 12-hour shifts, but I do think that the men and women of this department are very underpaid and benefits. You need to have legacy benefits such as retiree health care. You need to also have pensions that matter and wages that matter. And
officers to respond to back them up. We need more patrol. You know what else happens, Mark? I always want to ask this. It's custom, it's culture in Detroit, ladies and gentlemen, around the world. That like when a baby, anybody gets shot, the police, first responders, patch them up as best they can, put them in the squad car and drive them off to the hospital because, and this is respect to EMS, they're lying about they fixed it. You can't be sure they're going to get there in time to save the victim. Am I wrong there?
Well, I admit a lot of our members have been first responders to do temporary triage to get them to the hospital. In fact, even some of the same people that tried to kill us, I've been an admiration of the law enforcement officers that rendered aid to them.
How did Officer Courts get to the hospital?
Officers transported them.
The police car. You see me? You feel me out there? The officer shot in the neck. A hero. No doubt about that.
They did. I want to say this about those officers that responded to that scene. They did a magnificent job like they do every day.
Yeah.
And that's not being reported. It's easy to report alleged wrongdoing and some other stuff. But the fact of the matter is, these men and women of this department go out here and do an outstanding job. Charlie, they did it during COVID. They did it during the George Floyd protests. And they're working long, hard hours, doubles, and they're doing it under tough situations. They love the city. They love this department, and it needs to be reciprocated.
And that's the last word, man. I know you're busy today. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you, Charlie.
Equally,
and
brother.
Karen, I love you.
Love you back, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.